Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Guten Morgen, Damen und Herren. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, to the final day of EYUC 2024, this U17 European Youth Championships, coming to you from Ghent in Belgium. And today is the last day of competition, which is obviously the most exciting day. And we have a wonderful and very exciting matchup for you this morning between France and Germany in the U17 Open division. This is the semifinal. Later today, we'll have the final between the winner of this game, and obviously the winner from the other semifinal, which is Sweden and Italy, being played in another field right now. My name is Benjamin Ort. I'll be commentating for you this game. Please hit me up if you have any questions. I think you can use the chat function in the stream, or you can hit me up on Instagram, which is at Benjamin Ort, Benjamin OORT. If you have any questions or want to let me know what you think of this stream coverage, I'm happy to receive any feedback, and I'm very excited for this game. A little bit about my frisbee background. I've played for most of my life right now since I was a junior as well. I've played a couple junior cycles with the Dutch national team. My first one was also a U17 cycle in 2014, and then I played a couple U20 cycles. Never managed to make it to the semifinal with the Dutch national team. That was always an ambition of mine, but we never made it there. So I'm already jealous of these players that they can be in this position, but they earned it. Both teams had a very excellent week. The Germans actually going unbeaten this week. These two teams have met before, and that game came down to the wire. Germany taking that game 12-11, so on Universe Point. So we were just hoping for anything that might be as good as that, but I'm sure these two teams will give us an excellent show as they're fighting for a place in the gold medal match. As we just saw in the middle of the field, the two teams coming together in the so-called pre-game spirit circle, an initiative from the EUF for the last couple of years to encourage players and teams to get familiar with one another before the game, talk a little bit about the expectations going into it, mostly regarding the spirit, the level of physicality, perhaps, maybe some issues that they've experienced throughout the week, and everything to try to make this game go as smoothly as possible. Obviously, at this level, it's all self-refereed, so all players on the field are responsible for the calls they make and how they resolve them. And the pre-game spirit circle can help starting the process. Getting familiar with your opponent, saying hi to them is a big part of trusting them as well, and making sure that everything that happens on the field is the way it's supposed to go, which is what every player desires. The French team, I've had a good road to this semifinal as well. Very much in contention at the top. They did go they did go 2-4, so they did lose 4 games, but all the games that they did lose, they were very close. I'm sorry, they did go 3-3, so they lost 3 games. Only the 3 games to the teams that are also in this semifinal. So as I told before, the one against Germany that they lost on Universe, they lost by 2 against to Italy, which is in the other semifinal, and they lost to Sweden by 3, which is they're also in the semifinal. So The French maybe having a slight underdog position here, but that can actually help so much as there's maybe a bit less pressure. And you can just go in there and have fun as they start the game on offense. The French in their blue kit, the Germans in white. And as we see right away, first point, we see a block from the German defender coming through. Disc was slightly off target, and he was right there with his athleticism. As we see a breakthrough, receiver and thrower are looking each other in the eye, not knowing what the other wanted. The thrower thought that there was a cut to the break side happening, but clearly it wasn't. And they just stood looking at each other in disbelief. I really know how that feels, where you are honestly convinced that you know what's going to happen, and both players have a different idea of what's going to happen. So, yeah, too bad. First break opportunity for the Germans goes to waste as they take another block on an underneath catch, on an underneath cut. Second time this point already, just flying by. And this time, receiver and thrower on the same page, going right to the end zone, to the open side. Germans start this game off in a perfect fashion, 1-0. That was Fabian Meyerhofer to Meo Dalman. I think it's not going to be the last time you hear about Meyerhofer this game. Has had an exceptional week for the Germans this week. In 5 games, recorded 25 assists and 5 goals, leading the tournament, really carrying this German squad on his back. And yeah, it will be an interesting challenge for the French to see how they can stop Meyerhofer. Maybe put some different people on him, or I'm curious to see how they're gonna try to stop his effectiveness. And yeah, another German stat leader is Benjamin Schenk with 11 assists and 9 goals. Also having a great week for the Germans, doing it on both sides. The French have a bit more spread throughout their stats, which is always a good sign that the whole squad is contributing in a sort of equal way. And yeah, that will be very challenging for the Germans as well, as the threats from these French offense can come from all the players. As we see the Germans immediately switching it up a bit with a zone. It's a bit of a fluctuating zone. It looks at some points as a 2-3-2, but at this point it's more of a 3-2-1-1 with a straight up wall, you could say, but really pressuring the upfield passes. They're allowing the passes to the side, so the French are keen to just swing it around. Those passes are open. The Germans are fine with them taking them, but probably the goal of this zone is to force them to make as many throws as possible and really testing the consistency of this French O-line. So far, the French are not faced, and the Germans transition. So the Germans transitioned into matchup defense around half, which is very common to see. And now the French can go to work in their end zone set. Nice leading pass. Can he jump it in? Yes, he can. Very nice hold for the French, and such a good confidence booster as well to send your O-line out there. At first point, they got broken. It's never a nice start, but then to send them back out there and for just them to easily walk it in or say easily, maybe more like calmly and decisively. Um, and yeah, that was a very important hole, and now we can see the French D line coming out there. So that was Fortino to Guillem for the French score. So we see the French getting ready to pull, and the Germans coming out in a split stack. 2 players on the right side isolated, 3 players on the other side, and they go for an immediate huck. It's low, and it's poach defender is there to make a block. You could see what the play was how it was drawn up, but the French defender took his chance, and the disc was slightly low, so there's a chance for a block. So they go for an inside shot. Pick is called in the stack. Little curving cut from Leblanc, resulting in a collision in the stack as they move it down this open side, the far side from the camera. Now they get it back to the middle. I would love to see them hit the swing. They're not taking it. They're waiting for the options to come to the open side. Now they go back to the middle. As we see a towering D from the Germans. That's Meyerhofer again. Steinhoff. To Meyerhofer. He's looking for the end zone. You can see that. Definitely has all the throws this German team needs. Goes for the reset instead. Nice one-handed snack from Calabrese to Meyerhofer. Goes for the round backhand shot to the end zone, and it works. So the French definitely putting some pressures on the Germans. So-called dirty hold. For those of you who don't know that term, dirty hold is so clean hold is when you receive the disc on offense and without any turnovers, you score the point. That's obviously the perfect scenario if you are an offensive line. You can just walk it in, score without a turnover. So that's a clean hold. You want to get as many of them as possible, as you can imagine. A dirty hold is if you still hold, so you still score the point as the offensive line. But in the meantime, you may have made some mistakes, or you might have gotten a block against you or two. So there has been some turnovers happening, but after a couple turns, or in this case, only 2 turns, one from either side, you still punch it in. And yeah, of course, you'll take a dirty hold over a break all day. So you see the French back. And again, they're starting in this 2-5 horizontal stack, which is a bit uncommon. Or uncommon. Yeah, maybe so. I think most teams would play a vertical stack with 2-5, or if they play horizontal, they would go with 3 handlers and 4 cutters. The French opting to go for 2 handlers and 5 cutters in the horizontal stack. As they go deep, it's a big shot. It looks good. 2 German defenders there, but the disc was perfectly placed. Little dish to the middle back, and now a dangerous shot to the end zone, but it works out. When he released that, that player was completely open, but the float he put on that disc gave the German defender a chance to get close. Maybe not exactly how the French player drew it up, but worked out. That's Maton to Bardin for the score to tie it up at 2. the last day of a week-long tournament like this, in a way, they're obviously the toughest because your body is at the most exhausted point. But I also experienced that I think those last days are actually also the most fun. You're really playing against teams that are your level. In this case, these teams are playing for a shot at the final, which is all you really want. Of course, that's where you came here to do. And so, yeah, that extra level of competition and with the whole tournament sort of on the line, that gives such an extra energy boost that these players will just be locked in to to make it to the final. As now the French showing a bit of zone defense to the Germans. Germans are choosing to play with four handlers in the back, trying to offset the three players in the cup from the French or the wall from the French, as they find Mayo over the cup. He fixes Scuba, goes back to the middle. So they're really trying to have an extra open player in that handler reset. Scuba over the top. Nice take. Meyerhoff is going deep. They thought about it, but he dragged a couple players with him. Again, shot over the top is very effective for the Germans. And now the French are transitioning into a match defense as pick is called, as Meyerhofer was quite open. He's a good player, but maybe not so good that he's 10 meters open on his defender. So nice round flick to the break side. Lefty offense. And the Germans are off to the races. Meyerhofer to the end zone. That cut actually started as he received that lefty reset pass from, I believe that was Schenk. And the French defender tried to make a play on it, but just couldn't get it. But he did make an effort, resulting in him committing to that play. And that one extra step that he lost by doing that is what Meyerhofer used to his advantage. So he recognized that the defender made a play on him and it was slightly out of position, and then gave it right back to Schenk and went for the up line and the score. As we see the French D-line in a separate group, the D-line that just played, it's common to see in a lot of teams that if you just come off a point, especially if you're a defensive line, it's nice to come back to together and to discuss what just happened. And I always encourage teams and players to do that, and it's something that I've also experienced in my playing time with when I was overseas playing for Goat and the Rush in Toronto, Canada, and more recently last year when I played for Truck Stop and the DC Breeze in Washington. It was a very common practice that after each point, both if you were the O line or the D line, you would come off the field and get together, recap sort of the point, what happened, what went wrong, what went well, making sure that you share opinions or views on what each player thought happened during that point. And it's a very effective way to um, very gradually get more chemistry and perform better because I mean there's 7 players on the field. Everyone, it's a different perspective, and it's impossible to see everything. So yeah, I always like to see that, especially with this D-line that just played some zone defense. How can we perfect this zone? Clearly, the Germans had no issue this time shooting it over the top with little blades and scoobers, so maybe they're discussing on how to mitigate that a bit more and how they can prevent those easy over-the-top shots from the Germans. It seems like the wind is also not helping the French out here a lot. It seems quite still. Nice sunny morning here in Belgium. French are back on offense again. The 2-5 horizontal stack. Initiating from the side. To Vio. Looking for a reset. Nice up the line cut. He's a power position. He takes a shot. It's quite far. Can he get there? No, he can't. It's two receivers going to that disc from Fortino. But just ever so slightly put too much in front. And now the Germans with a very good chance to, or very good opportunity to go up 2 breaks early in this game. I'm really trying my best to get the player names here, but especially the reflection on the German shirts made it a bit difficult as Meyerhofer goes deep. This looks good. There's 2 players underneath it, and that's such a nice take. German players tapping the hats, excited about the teammate making a good play over the French defender. And I think this is really where we can see the strength of this German team. Nico Hoyos is a good player for the Germans. Was important for them in earlier matches as well, and of course Meyerhofer. They isolated him from a side stack, so they picked the disc up on the left side. They put every player from the German offense on the right side of the field except Meyerhofer, so he had the whole field to work with. He got a nice underneath cut and then threw the backhand hook to Hoyos. And I think that's really something that the French should be aware of. And really, that scenario, that setting is, I think, where the Germans are at their most dangerous. They're very athletic, tall players that are liking the big spaces. And so I think it will be a challenge for the French to keep those spaces tight and to limit those one-on-one matchups with the Germans as much as possible. But first, they'll try to answer with the hold of their or with the hold. They'll go deep with the backhand inside. This one is far, but the defender. Oh, I thought he had a chance at it at some point, but again, the French slightly overshooting their receivers right now. They're hitting nice options. They're players in stride. They have a couple steps, but maybe slightly scared to put it too high so the German players can get underneath it. So they're trying to zip them a bit more. And now we see the Germans back on offense for another break chance. We see Meyerhofer isolated in the front of the stack. I won't be surprised to see them go to him. He takes off deep. Phil comes underneath. The French opting to go for a man-to-man defense again. As they go deep, the Germans do. Awkward angle for the pass, but nicely read from the Germans. Travel seemed to be called. I'm not sure if that's the only call because travel does not stop play. But disc is back already. So we see the Germans on the doorstep. And that's an easy way to put it in. Germans really taking control now. That's again Schenk to Daniel Salman, who's been a big goal scorer for this team. Five goals so far this week, 3 assists. Schenk doing damage on both sides of the disc. As I said before, 11 assists and 9 goals so far, and this is his second assist of the day of the game, and he also had a goal to accompany him. As we see the French taking some time, we see timeout has been called, as I can see. That's Bilal in the green shirt, active player on the local team from Ghent called Gentle, one of the best teams in Belgium over the last few years. They've always been very good, and currently this season I'm playing with the Mooncatchers. We're also from Belgium, and Mooncatchers Gentle. It's called El Clasico. It's been the final of the Belgium national championship for I'm not sure how often the last 10 years, but probably 8 or 9 out of the last 10 years, I think. Really a good rivalry. Um, and yeah, Ghent doing a good job hosting this tournament. This venue is used regularly for big tournaments. Most prominent one is G Spot, which is one of the biggest mixed tournaments in Europe. Um, but also other several European tournaments are held here, and this is also not the first European Youth Championship being held here in Ghent. So always good to see a big local community stepping up to host these tournaments. And the Blaarmeerster complex is a perfect location for, especially for youth players. It's a big recreational area. There's a lake where you can swim, and parks where you can chill and have food. So always good setting and good vibes here. And we lost the connection there for a bit, but we're back. I hope the stream is working effortlessly for all the viewers at home. So we see another German zone. I feel like so far the zone defense has been good from the Germans, but the French have handled it very well. They're very patient, just swinging it back and forth, not in a rush. As now they make some pace, going towards the end zone. And 2 passes, and they're in. Seemed to be some sort of discussion within the Germans whether it was gonna be a call or something, but there wasn't. As Chrétien picks up his first assist of the game. And Carlo, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I'm really trying my best. Julien Carlo with his first goal. I'll try to keep you posted on the other semifinal, which is, as I said before, excuse me, Sweden, Italy. At this point, Sweden leading that game 4-2, one break ahead of the Italians. So a slight edge there for the Swedes, but super early still, so still anything is on the table as the Germans are currently just rolling through this French defense. Calabrese swung it to Meyerhofer. They're entering the red zone right now. Going back to the middle. Again, they're isolating Meyerhofer from the front of the sack, but this one is slightly overthrown. It's the French with a great opportunity to get back that break that they lost earlier this game. Swinging it to the open side, going up line. That's nice cuss. He's in power position. He throws it. This one is a bit high. There's a couple players underneath it. And those German defenders dominating the skies. There seemed to be some sort of call, or at least the French player is down. I think he's arguing a foul. Definitely the two German defenders came in from the back. The French player definitely had the positioning. But it was hard for me to see where the contact occurred and if it occurred in a way that it really impacted the play. But they seem to have a discussion about it. I think Meyerhofer arguing that he went over the top from him. Maybe the French player arguing he felt that he got pushed or hit by Meyerhofer. As I think they are contesting the foul call. Yes, they are. Pretty good use of hand signals, always appreciated by the commentators. Even this is my first week commentating. And so I've always played, and I know that the commentators appreciate it if you use hand signals. I've heard them say it before. But now I'm in the position where I understand it. It's very nice to have players signal so you know what's happening on the field. As we are back in play, the French. Nice high release lefty backhand to the break side. And just overshoots it, but almost saved. Just slight miscommunication. Now Meyerhofer picks up. Goes for that flick around. Definitely likes that throw. I think that's to Calabrese. Waiting for the reset to Meyerhofer. Oof. Good play by the French defender. They're really putting a lot of pressure on this German O-line. As they go deep. This one looks good. Might be a bit far. Can he get there? He caught it in bounds. Nice catch. Right up big. Got his left toe in bounds. Towards the back of the end zone. And that's another dirty hold from the Germans, as I said before. So French are very close to getting those breaks in. Obviously, they're doing well. There just comes down to the small little details, and a couple times there was some miscommunications or a slight overthrow on those hucks, but the systems look good for the French. The pressure on defense looks good. I think I would like to see them throw some more zone kind of defenses at the Germans. Because from what I've seen so far, the Germans are having a slight advantage over the French if it comes down to a purely physical one-to-one matchups. But yeah, definitely the French doing a good job here, and they're very close to punching in those breaks. So if I'm the French coaching staff, I'm definitely Not upset. I'm definitely happy with how we're playing, and it just comes down to the little details. Going back to the basics, going back to their reset systems, and I think they'll be in good shapes. The Germans, on the other hand, are taking control of this game so far. They've really not missed many opportunities to go at the French, using their top players really well, um, which is good to see that the top talent in Germany, Meyerhofer, Schenk, among others, are really able to put these teammates on their back, and I'm already excited in I don't know 5-6 years to play, or maybe even sooner, I guess. See them at the big stage. Maybe if I'm still around there, but I like to think I am. But we'll see. Definitely good to see the next generation top players in Europe develop, and it all starts right here in the U17 division. Fortino goes back to the middle. Nice deep hook from Kallio. Back to Fortino. See, hard cutting, but also good defense. Bourgeon, Créti, back to the middle. Very impressed by him so far. Oh, that's a wonderful take. Simeon Bardin, that was. I like the visor as well, as there seemed to be some sort of call. The head signal violation. But what a take that was. Goes up early, went up for horizontal. And now the French go to the end zone. I think there's a pick being called by the Germans. Did it affect the play? Yes, it did. They're discussing it right now. French player was open by quite a bit, but German player arguing that he couldn't get to that offensive player as he was hindered by other players on his way. Seem to have come to a conclusion, and this goes back to Crétin. So far, I've been very impressed by him. Very reliable reset handler for the French, really saving some possessions. As the French are working it. Bardin with an amazing catch earlier this point. Fortino goes with the hammer. Fortino, and it's caught. That's a nice snack. One-handed catch. Wasn't an easy hammer, but Valentin Bibar-Vio with a good catch under pressure. German defender was right there. And so that was a nice confidence booster, I think, for the French. Getting this hold in. And now it's really time to ramp up the pressure against the Germans as they are trailing 6-3. I was going to update you on the other semi-final, and we have a similar score over there. Sweden leading Italy 6-3. As we see a good performance there from Kasper Nilsson. 4 assists and 1 goal. So 5 total scores out of the 6 for the Swedes. Again, if you have any questions or comments, feedback about the stream, please hit me up. I think you can use the chat function in this streamer, or hit me up on Instagram at Benjamin Ort. That's Benjamin OORT. Happy to answer any of your questions. As the Germans went for an easy isolation play, I was already looking at what Meyerhofer was going to do. He was isolated in the middle of the field. The French with the short field. Lacoste picks up. He's looking for the end zone. And he goes to it. Blade around. The receiver is wide open. And that's the break the French needed to get back into this game. Big sideline here from the French. Lots of parents, I believe, supporting. It's very nice to see. They brought their flags and they're ready to support their players. And that was a very nice play for the French. You could see that Thomas Lacoste was just looking for the end zone, and he wasn't going to take any other option than a shot to the end zone. And Simeon Bardin realized that and gave him a nice cut to the back of the end zone. As the Germans, I believe, taking the time out, trying to get their heads back into this game. I'll take a quick break as well, and we'll be back when the play resumes. And we are back to the action of this semi-final game of the EYUC 2024. Germany taking on France. The Germans really starting this game off strong, couple breaks, but the French just took a very important break back to change the momentum a little bit. As we see the French coming back on defense with a sort of zone. I believe it's a wall, straight up wall in the front, and then in the back it's a bit of a diamond zone clam. But I believe they're also matching up man to man to Meyerhofer. Oh no, they're just switching around, making the Germans think twice, which so far has been successful, but also the Germans not in any real problems. Just swing the disc around. Now Meyerhofer comes back towards the disc. Go into the middle. German handlers not making many progress so far. Now they find a shot through. Oh, no. French defender almost got a play on that. It's the Germans. Mio Dahlmann thought about the deep shot. Decides to holster. That's a nice little blade by Calabrese to Steinhoff. And now they find Meyerhofer at the end. Let's see if he has something special in his locker. A nice up the line to Schenk. One of his favorite targets. And Schenk finds the little pop to Steinhoff, but that's a nice block by Bardin. Bardin really stepping up to the plate right now, having this amazing layout grab the previous point, and they go deep right away, the French. There's no one there, but still almost make the play. There was no one there, but the French cutter decided to just chase that disc and almost got it out of the air. So now Meyerhofer again goes up the line. Move it forward to Steinhoff, being chased by the French defender. Great pressure. Meyerhofer up the line. Fakes the hammer. Goes for the inside backhand. To Schenk that was. To Calabrese, I think. Back to Meyerhofer again for the pop. High release backhand. You go for the little inside reset to Meyerhofer. And that's where he's really dangerous. So again, the French with a golden opportunity to tie this game up at 6. Instead, the Germans taking half and also starting the second half on offense. In what has so far been a very, very exciting game. Both teams really playing well. Yeah, the level is really high. The pressure is that both teams are putting up is it's very good to see. Both on the matchup defense that they're playing, but also the different types of zones that you're seeing, and clams and ways to try to offset one another. So excited to see what kind of adjustments both teams will make. I think for the French, I said it before, I like their zony looks. I think in a man-to-man or a person-to-person defense, the Germans have a slight advantage. So I would like to see them mix that up. And on the turn, I think the small ball offense that the French have played with swinging it to either side has been very, very effective. Really, the lead like the likes of Chrétien and Bardin and also Fortino, really working it in the backfield. That has been very difficult for those Germans to stop. For Germany, I think this plan has been working well. I think it would be also good to see a bigger part of their roster being more involved. Meyerhofer and Schenk are really doing most of the heavy lifting now, and they're playing great. But they're also very dependent on them. So I think finding ways for the German team to utilize a bigger part of their roster is going to make them even more dangerous. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what the second half will bring of this semifinal. Players will take a quick break, and so will I, and we'll be back when the action resumes. And we are back. Welcome back. Willkommen, bienvenue to the second half of the semifinal. One of the semifinals of EYUC 2024. It is Germany taking on France. Germany starting on offense in the second half, already leading 7-5. And the French starting off in that zony kind of defense again. So Germans find Meyerhofer. Nice high grab. Goes with the hammer over the top. Very little wind. To Schenk. To Calabrese. To Meyerhofer. Catch under pressure. I think that's Bardin on defense. That was Kilio on defense. They're still discussing a bit the level of physicality of Kilio and Meyerhofer. Always good to see it. Slap of hands, thumbs up. Both players are happy with that result. Very intense defense. Like to see it from the French. They're really putting up the pressure. Reminds me a bit of a couple weeks ago in Birmingham, where the U20 division had a world championship, and the French teams did exceptionally well in all divisions. With the highlight, of course, that in the women's division, the French beat the USA in the final, which has been doesn't happen often that Team USA gets beaten in a World Championship final. But the French seem to have figured it out a bit because they also did it last year at the beach in California at the World Championship for Beach Ultimate. And so, but my point was that I remember in the Open final where the French Open team was playing the US, there was also a big, let me hold that thought, as the French go deep. A couple players underneath it, but the Germans take it. German players seem to have injured himself, just grabbing his right hamstring, I believe. I think that is Meo Dalman, who is luckily able to come off in his own power, but is still on the ground on the sideline, getting some help from his teammates and coaching staff, as Meyerhofer has subbed in for him, and they're discussing the call. As Meyerhofer walks up to Dalman and says, "Hey, what do you think about this foul call? Did you foul him or not?" Always a bit difficult to have a call when someone comes off injured. But he comes back to have the discussion, I believe. He seemed to be contesting. So yeah, the point I was trying to make is the French national team U20s in the Open Division. They really played a good final against Team USA in that final. I believe they lost 15-11 or something like that. So at the end, yeah, wasn't as close as they would have liked. Obviously, they would have liked to win that game, but the Americans definitely the favorites there. And the French really putting a lot of pressure on the Americans with a very physical defense. And yeah, they seem to have also translated that a bit to the U17 team, which is good to see. As the French go to the break side, keep swinging it around to Bardin. Fortinal. Calui. It's the same handler core. Now Chrétien gets involved again. Fortinal. Very patient. Decisive cutting from the French. Good reset. Isolate from the front of the stack. Nice inside shot. Good grab. And goes with the hammer. That's perfectly placed. That hammer seems to be working for the French. It's been the second time that they made that connection. This was Guillaume to Maton. And that's a big break to start the second half, to tie it up at 7. That's the second time this game has been tied. The first time was, or that's not true actually. At 0-0, at 1-1, and at 2-2. And ever since it was 2-2, the Germans have been leading this game. But now the French making it back to a tie game. In the meantime, the other semi-final, Sweden taking at this point demanding charge or lead over Italy, 9-4. So Italy got a lot of work to do to turn that game around. On the other end, our game right here is a very exciting one. It's the German coaching staff of Lukas Makwetski and Jakob Willich prepare their German O-line for another hold. I've had the pleasure to meet Jakob Willich at a indoor tournament in the Netherlands last year, where he was playing with a youth team, his own youth team, the Windhozen out of Wilhelmshaven. And yeah, very nice to see people being so involved in youth ultimate and trying to grow the sport. And Willich definitely one of them. And so far he's been doing a good job leading this German team, I believe, as they're performing very well in this semifinal. The French, they're going back to their person defense, trying to put that pressure back on the Germans. This is the area where the Germans have been so deadly, so effective, so patient as well, which is very oof. And that was a contested throw to the middle. Both players going towards it. Definitely some contact. Both players still on the ground. They seem to be having a good conversation. The French player uncontesting this foul or strip call, which results in a score for the Germans. So definitely some pressure, and the French are getting closer and closer to those blocks. It's good to see the teams discussing, for as far as I can tell, very calmly, very respectfully. And I mean, the stakes at these games are very high. They're fighting for a European championship, a place, a spot in the final for European championship. So a lot of pride, and a lot of honor on the line, and that makes it even more important to stay cool and collective and keep the spirit of the game intact. And both teams seem to be doing a good job, which is very nice to see. That also at an early age, of course, players, the spirit of the game is an important part of this sport, and it's always good to see that it actually works well. Also at when the stakes are the highest. So we see the French back on offense. Vio swings it all the way to the other side. Inside shot. French doing a good job of working the break side here. Continuing to Maton. To Fortinao, they go for the hammer. It's been working so far, and this time again. French players tapping their hats now for this good catch. More than good. Excellent catch. So this hammer has been a recipe for success so far. And that's the second goal for Maton. He also caught the last hammer, alongside with one assist. So he's putting his mark on this game. And Fortinao with another good shot to the end zone. I think he also had that hammer earlier this game. It also worked out to Vio, I believe. Yeah, the French definitely are known for a team that is very systematic. They have a very system-oriented offense. The Germans as well, but the French are usually their youth programs very good at initiating from the back of the stack, but also having a very handler-dominant offense and using the break side to their advantage, dumping and swinging, and I do like to see that. It's very easy to get stuck on that open side. Definitely takes discipline and patience to work it on both sides of the field. This pull just lands out of bounds. German setting up in a horizontal-ish kind of stack. A bit scattered over the whole field. As we see Lassage taking the Meyerhofer matchup. As they go deep. I believe that's the target is Steinhoff. Can he get there? Perfect shot. Seems to be some communication error by the French. Maybe blown up switch. But that shot was put in the exact right spot. German using their deep game. And who else but Benjamin Schenk with the assist. His fifth assist of the game, alongside 2 goals. Really, I mean, And we are back. Apologies for the technical difficulties we just had. But we are here at the final part of this very, very exciting semi-final game. On the other field, Sweden has taken down Italy. So Sweden is waiting for the winner of this game in the final. And right now, the score is 11-10 to Germany. I think this will be a game to 12. But the French have the disc um, with a very, very important opportunity to tie this game up. 11-11. This is where your big players need to step up and make the difference for this team. Season on the line for the French and the Germans, but really a must score here for the French to stay in this game. Fortino thought about the deep shot, decides to holster, goes to his reset. Cretin to Calot to Fortino. Patiently working, goes for the hammer. It's been working for him all game. Nice give go movement to Bellieu. He looks to the end zone, doesn't take the shot. Fortino comes back for the reset. Oh, and that reset is just slightly off the target. Nothing Chrétien could do. And now the Germans with a golden opportunity. Who else but Meyerhofer picks up, goes for the immediate reset. Nice around to Schenk. Schenk, inside shot to Dahlmann. Back to Schenk. And that was an opportunity that the French really wish they had back. As the Germans take the 12-10 lead in this game to 13. French needing to score the next 3 in a row to secure their spot in the final. The Germans just need one more. Curious to see what the lineup for the Germans will look like. Whether they'll try to rest the likes of Meyerhofer and Steinhoff and Schenk, or no, I believe I see Meyerhofer back out there, so he's not coming off the field. Interesting decision, I think, to not rest some of your offensive heavy lifters. So the Germans really trying to blow the knockout punch right away. And the French now in a must hold position. They cannot afford any more mistakes. As the French sideline is getting loud, supporting their team. Of course, the German sideline also getting involved, as they can already taste this final. French working it around to Cretin, Fortino. Looks upfield for a bit. Nice give go movement, good catch. This one is slightly overshot, but again a lovely layout catch. Fortino gets a zippy reset into his chest. Manages to hold on. German pressure is good, but the French are being patient. Go take a shot to the end zone. That's good. As there is a call. Germans calling it out of bounds. But call seemed to be retracted. So that's exactly what the French needed to do. That was step one, getting the hold. But now the more difficult part starts as the Germans, I think, take their final time out of this game. Everything comes down for them to this point as well. I mean, both teams will be feeling probably nervous, but at the end of the day, this is the reason why you play Ultimate. I've been in these positions often, and the pressure is big because you know you cannot afford any more mistakes. And usually, what helps me in those scenarios is to think of other things than Ultimate as well. Just think about I don't know, a nice holiday I had a couple years ago, or the nice food I had last week, or something else I'm looking forward to for the rest of this year. Maybe a trip I'm gonna make, or I'm not sure. Something that is not really ultimate related. That helps me to calm me down and to think about that. It gives me a positive feeling. But it works differently for every player. Um, and so this is a very good learning opportunity for all these people, for all these players out there. Getting used to these pressure scenarios at an early age is so valuable, whilst also still maintaining to have fun. Because at the end of the day, you're just here at a Belgium Ultimate Field trying to play some frisbee. So some perspective is also good in those scenarios. Of course, you want to win, and at this point for these players, it feels like nothing else matters, which is good. But let's see how both teams react in this scenario. Lovely pull by the French, starting the Germans back. As we see the play that we all knew that was going to happen, just Mayov, it takes off deep. A couple players underneath it, but the French take this one. The disc was just hanging for too long, and the French had an opportunity to get some players underneath it. Now this is the crucial moment. Can they keep this possession alive? Can they stay cool and collective? They go to the reset, back to the middle, to Catin, who has been so reliable, but this time he just throws it a bit too close to the German defender. What a great block by the Germans, potentially saving them this game. As Meyerhofer picks up now, isolating to the around. The sideline gone quiet as everyone is holding their breath, seeing what's going to happen, seeing how the Germans will take this offensive charge. Meyerhofer just chilling in the back, taking the under. Good pressure by the French. Couple passes away for the Germans. Is this enough? Was he inbounds? He was. As the French players lay on the ground in disbelief, thinking about how close they were to upsetting the Germans, how hard they fought during this game with a crazy comeback. But at the end, the Germans were too clinical. They were too clinical for this French team. But what a great game we've seen, and it's wonderful to see all the players shaking hands and coming together. I feel like it's been an excellent display of Ultimate, of Youth Ultimate, It had everything you could ask for. Major highlights, good defensive pressure, nice hucks, um, some exceptional individual performances from both sides. Benjamin Schenk with 3 assists, or 6 assists and 3 goals. Mayenhofer with 4 assists and 2 goals. The list goes on. It's been wonderful to see also the spirit between these two teams. Some calls, but they were all resolved very very calmly and respectfully. So it's been an absolute pleasure to see these two teams battle. Congratulations to the Germans for making it to the final. They'll be taking on Sweden later today for the European Championship, and the French national team will be taking on Italy at 2 p.m. local time. And then I will be back to commentate that game to see who takes home the bronze. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name has been Benjamin Ort. Thanks so much, and until the next time.